Hey, what's up, leaders? It's Daily Mustang here, and today I'm talking to all my senior lieutenants and my junior captains. I'm sharing some leadership principles that'll help you navigate the real challenges you're going to face in your career. These are hard truths that you won't find in the leadership manuals, so let's dive in. So first and foremost, the first principle is to get KD as fast as possible. This is critical, especially if you're in a branch like mine, military police, where you can take a basic training company assignment right after the captain's career course. Here's why that matters. If you're waiting around for a line company or command slate, you could be waiting 2 to 3 years before you even get a shot at that sexy line company. And you just don't have that time to wait. By stepping into a leadership role like a basic training company right away, you're sitting in that command seat well before your peers. You're ahead of the pack, already gaining the broadening experience that puts you in a position to succeed. In the military police and other branches with similar opportunities, you're stacking qualifications early. And it's not just about checking boxes, it's about gaining real leadership experience that sets you up for the next step. If you wait, you risk falling behind. Your peers might be entering their first command while you're still waiting to get placed on the command slate. That means 2 to 3 more years of just biding time while you're watching others move forward. But if you get KD quickly, you'll be stacking up MQs and gaining leadership experience before others can even enter command. That puts you in a stronger position for the future, whether it's major, broadening assignments, or just being seen as someone who can lead and deliver. Next up, don't burn bridges on staff. Now, I know it could feel like staff positions are just a pit stop on your way to command, but trust me, those relationships will follow you. And I can speak from experience here. I spent a year on battalion staff as an assistant S3 before my command, and it was a pivotal time for me. What I learned and what I can tell you from firsthand experience is this: all the relationships you build or destroy on staff will follow you straight into command. When I took the headquarters detachment as my first command, I could clearly see the consequences of the relationships I had built, and more importantly, the ones I had neglected or burned. You will ride out what you develop or neglect on staff. The people you interact with on staff, whether it's other officers, NCOs, or even DA civilians, will be the same people you lean on later when you're in command. They'll remember how you treated them, whether it was with respect, transparency, and professionalism, or whether you treated them like a stepping stone or someone who was in the way. And the people who helped you or had your back on staff will be the same people you rely on to help you succeed in command. Your reputation, your ability to get things done, and your relationships are all intertwined. So build those relationships, be professional, be supportive, and treat everyone with respect no matter what role they have. If you burn those bridges or make enemies on staff, you're going to find it a lot harder when it is time to take over a unit. You don't want to be the guy or gal who shows up to command with a trail of bad relationships behind you. You want to be the one who has built a network of support that will help you hit the ground running. All right, now let's pivot. Let's talk about toxic supervisors or toxic raiders. And I'll be real with you, I've had my fair share of them. I saw it as a young lieutenant, but especially as a captain, and I know firsthand how damaging a toxic leader can be. But let's be clear, when I say toxic, I'm not talking about someone who has a bad day or has a tough moment. Toxic leadership is something deeper. It's manipulative leadership. It's when someone actively sabotages your success because they want you to fail. They will try to derail your career, undermine your efforts, and make you second guess yourself. It's personal. They're not just challenging your leadership, they're trying to break you down. So how do you navigate these challenges without getting caught in the storm of negativity and frustration? The key is to remain level-headed. You need to be cool in the face of danger, calm, collected, and always 2 to 3 steps ahead. You can't let these toxic leaders rattle you. That's exactly what they want. Stay grounded in regulations and doctrine. Know your stuff, follow the rules, and don't get baited into emotional reactions or personal conflicts. They thrive off your anger, frustration, and mistakes. When you stay calm and collected, they lose the power they have over you. And here's a strategy that works every time. Kill them with kindness. Now, I know that sounds counterintuitive, but it works. When you're dealing with a toxic leader, treat them with the utmost professionalism and courtesy, no matter how they treat you. You don't have to like them, but you do have to respect them, since usually they outrank you. And you have to rise above the pettiness. By doing this, you stay in control, and you prevent them from pulling you into their toxic cycle. The more you remain calm and professional, the less ammunition they have to use against you. Now, as for toxic senior raters, I'm sorry, that's a tough situation. But here's what I'll tell you. You can leverage your rater, win them over, and they can become your best advocate. They can be your voice when you need it. It's tough, but you've got to find a way to work with them. And if you're stuck in an all-around toxic environment where both your rater and senior rater are toxic, listen to me, take the high road. Keep your head down, grind it out, and just keep pushing. The storm will pass. I've been through a lot in 16 years of service, and I've survived many a storm. The toxic environments, they don't last forever. Sometimes the universe, God, whatever you believe in, puts you in these situations for a reason. It's to help you grow. And guess what? You cannot grow without adversity. Let me say that again. You cannot grow without adversity. Now let's talk about owning it. This one is huge. Own it. Because it's not just about taking credit when things go right. It's about taking responsibility when things go wrong. Anything you do, anything your soldiers do or fail to do is a direct reflection of your leadership. That's the reality of our job. Now, I'll be the first to say, sometimes it's not fair. You're going to take the blame for things that weren't your fault. You might be responsible for situations you had little control over. But here's the hard truth. We're not in the business of fair. We're in the business of getting results. And in our world, those results are measured by mission success and sometimes by life and death. As a leader, you own everything. Whether it's a mistake you made by your team or a mistake made by your team, a missed deadline, or something that goes wrong in the field, it's your responsibility. It doesn't matter if it was your fault or not. It's on you to fix it. Learn from it and grow from it. That's the price of leadership. When you own your mistakes, it's not about just accepting the blame. It's about taking control of the situation, correcting the course, and moving forward. Leaders who can't own their mistakes do not grow. And if you do not learn from your mistakes, then you're doomed to repeat them. But when you own it and you learn from it, you get better, and so does your team. So remember, if your soldiers see you own it, they'll respect you more. They'll trust you more. And they'll follow your lead when it matters most. If you try to deflect responsibility or delegate the blame elsewhere, they'll see right through it. And that erodes trust. Trust is everything in leadership, especially when you're leading soldiers into difficult or dangerous situations. Own it, learn from it, and get better. That's how you grow as a leader, and that's how your team will grow with you. All right, so last point is taking command. When it comes to taking command, here's a big tip. You've sat down, you've had the office call with the battalion commander or the brigade commander, right? You need to be prepared to take what's handed to you. But I'll tell you this, ask questions before you agree to anything. I was told I was taking the headquarters detachment. Now that is a unit that had seen 2 commanders in succession get HQ evals back to back. And I already knew this. That should have been a red flag. But the books all say command is command, right? That's what we always hear from our leaders, and command is command. Well, command is not just command. Some commands will set you up for promotion to major and others won't. That's just simple facts. These are critical years for you. Every eval counts as a captain. You have to be thinking about your career, so ask yourself, why me? Why this unit? When you get that phone call from your battalion commander or brigade commander to do a sit down, and they say, hey, you're taking command of a headquarters detachment, your first thought should be, why me? Why this unit? And don't brush past that question. Ask it out loud if you have to. Here's the deal. Not all commands are created equal. Command is command, right? But let's be real. Some units set you up for promotion to major, others not so much. Before you just say, yes, sir, yes, ma'am, and take the command, dig in. Ask the tough questions. For example, what's the command philosophy here? Will this role help me get a strong eval coming out of it? If you can get the brigade or battalion commander to say that you're going to be stair-stepped into a solid next opportunity with an MQ eval coming out of command, that's a win. If they can give it to you in writing, even better. But don't just take what's handed to you if you know the unit you're taking is raider fodder. Let's say you're offered a HQ detachment, but there's a sexy line company position that is scheduled to open up after it. See if you can negotiate that. Maybe after you take the headquarters detachment, you can move into the line company where you'll get a chance to really show what you're made of. Not only will it look better on paper, but you'll gain real hands-on leadership experience. Keep in mind, I'm not talking about battalions that use headquarters detachments as second commands. I'm talking about the ones who use them as raider fodder for pre-command captains. And here's the kicker. If you get a vibe that leadership is already picking their winners, the guys and gals who they think are going to be the future stars, even before you take command, then that's a red flag. If you don't see any real opportunities for growth, or worse, they're stacking the horses before you even get a shot, then it's time to walk. Your career is too important to get caught up in a dead-end command. Now, I get it. Some people might say this all sounds selfish, that command is a privilege, and they're right. It is. It's a huge responsibility, and it is an honor to lead. But here's also a hard truth. It's also not selfish to think about your career. You are your best advocate. And how do you think those field grade officers got to where they are? They got there by being smart about their career choices. They took command, but they also made sure it aligned with their long-term goals. Bottom line, and I'll leave you with this, you do not have to push back or turn down every command, but just make sure you're using each opportunity to set yourself up for the future. It's your career, and you control the direction. Don't just take command, leverage it for the next step. That's all for now. I hope this helps, and I'll see you in the next one. Keep grinding and keep growing.